You need to hear this. During the end-Permian mass extinction event, around 252 million years ago, the oceans underwent catastrophic changes, becoming acidic and inhospitable, leading to the extinction of approximately 90% of marine species. It's as if the ocean itself transformed into a nightmare, devastating life in its waters overnight. Imagine being underwater as the environment rapidly deteriorates around you. Fish suffocate and die in massive numbers. Calcium carbonate shells begin to dissolve as seawater pH drops dramatically. The once clear blue waters turn acidic and toxic. And this catastrophic event unfolded within a geologically brief period, catching marine life off guard. We now understand that this was one of the critical tipping points leading to Earth's most severe mass extinction, the Permian-Triassic boundary event, marking the end of the Permian period approximately 252 million years ago. The day the Permian oceans turned to acid was a moment of unimaginable chaos. Around 252 million years ago, massive volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia released an unprecedented amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. No warning signs. No time to react. The CO2 levels skyrocketed, triggering a chain reaction that would alter life on Earth forever. Here's what nobody tells you. When oceans absorb excess CO2, they become more acidic. Think of pouring a giant vat of carbonated soda into the world's largest aquarium. Suddenly, pH levels drop dramatically, calcium carbonate begins to dissolve, and marine ecosystems face catastrophic breakdowns. And then, everything scientists thought they knew fell apart. The Permian oceans were home to some of the most bizarre creatures ever known. Nautiloids with spiral shells up to 2 meters long, reef-building corals that span miles, and filter-feeding graptolites resembling underwater forests. But it wasn't just the big stuff. Microscopic plankton that formed the base of the food chain suddenly couldn't survive. Species like graptolites and conodonts vanished en masse, leading to a collapse in algae and phytoplankton populations. This left nothing for larger organisms to eat, causing the entire ecosystem to crumble layer by layer. Now imagine this. You're a fish swimming through what was once a vibrant Permian coral reef, only now everything is falling apart around you. The very water itself has become corrosively acidic, eating away at your scales and bones. It's like being in an underwater acid rainstorm with no escape. This nightmare scenario marks the extreme environmental crisis that triggered the end-Permian mass extinction, where over 90% of marine species perished as the oceans turned toxic due to drastic changes in chemistry and temperature. The part that breaks me is still coming, the scale of it all. This wasn't just local, no, this was global. Every ocean on Earth felt the hit, from the Arctic to the tropics, leading to the collapse of entire marine communities overnight. What we're talking about here is a mass extinction event so catastrophic that even today's climate scientists struggle to comprehend its full impact. This event occurred during the end-Permian period, around 252 million years ago, and it led to the disappearance of over 90% of marine species and nearly 75% of terrestrial vertebrate species. But wait, there's more. The Permian oceans turning acidic was indeed a stark warning for our future. Today, we're facing the same risk all over again. Industrial CO2 emissions are on the rise, and if they continue unchecked, we could see another ocean acidification crisis in our lifetimes, just as occurred during the end-Permian mass extinction event. Subject: the day the Permian oceans turned to acid. Get this, every time you hear someone talking about climate change, think of that Permian Sea. Picture it as a blueprint for what can happen when an ecosystem is pushed too far. The oceans, once teeming with life, crumbled under the weight of unchecked CO2 levels during the end-Permian mass extinction event around 252 million years ago. Now it's up to us to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. Subject: the day the Permian oceans turned to acid. Hold that thought, it's about to matter. As we look back on this pivotal moment in Earth's history, during the end-Permian period around 252 million years ago, the lessons are clear. We can no longer afford to ignore these warnings. The Permian extinction is more than just a story of ancient times. It's a stark reminder of what could lie ahead if we don't act now. This event, which wiped out over 90% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrates, underscores the profound impact that environmental changes can have on life on Earth. Now let me ask you something. When you hear about modern ocean acidification, do you ever think back to this pivotal moment in Earth's history? The Permian Triassic extinction event, often called the Great Dying, fundamentally altered marine ecosystems over 250 million years ago. That's why we need to care. History shows us that drastic environmental changes can have catastrophic consequences for life on Earth. Unless we act now to prevent similar scenarios from unfolding, we risk repeating this dire chapter of our planet's past. And there's another thing that breaks me: how much we still have left to lose. The end-Permian extinction was a wake-up call for our planet, but we're at risk of ignoring the message yet again. Every day, more CO2 gets pumped into the atmosphere, and every day brings us closer to that tipping point. During the end-Permian mass extinction, roughly 250 million years ago, massive volcanic eruptions in Siberia released vast amounts of carbon dioxide, leading to ocean acidification and catastrophic loss of marine life. This event underscores the profound impacts that increased atmospheric CO2 can have on Earth's ecosystems. So what can you do? Start by understanding this. The fate of our oceans is in your hands. The end-Permian extinction shows us just how fragile life can be when faced with a sudden environmental shift. But it also gives us hope, because we have the power to change course before it's too late. Here's something else that's insane. If you look at photos of what the world was like during the Permian period, it looks almost normal. You'd never guess there was a massive disaster lurking beneath the surface. That's why understanding the end-Permian extinction is so crucial, because it teaches us to see beyond appearances and understand the real dangers hidden in plain sight. Now think about that for a second. What if we're living in another period of impending environmental crisis, but nobody realizes it until it's too late? This isn't just history, it's a warning for today. And as alarming as it sounds, this is exactly why you should care more than ever before. Subject: the day the Permian oceans turned to acid. In short, during the end-Permian mass extinction, the oceans became highly acidic due to massive volcanic eruptions releasing carbon dioxide and sulfur compounds into the atmosphere. This event devastated marine life on a catastrophic scale. Today, human activities are raising CO2 levels in the ocean at an unprecedented rate, putting modern marine ecosystems at risk of suffering similar consequences if drastic action is not taken immediately. And here's what breaks me the most: knowing this moment could happen again unless we take action right now. The Permian Triassic extinction event was a turning point, wiping out over 90% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrate species. Our current trajectory puts us on the brink of another mass extinction. But there's still hope. If we learn from history and act swiftly, we can prevent disaster. So let's be honest. When you think about the end-Permian mass extinction and the catastrophic effects on marine life, it feels like something out of a horror movie. And that's because it was, with real consequences for life today. The question isn't whether we can stop similar events from happening, it's whether we will. What breaks me is the thought that one day soon, people might look back at our time and see another mass extinction event in the making, reminiscent of the devastating Permian Triassic extinction 252 million years ago. But here's the truth: we have the power to change that story. We just need to choose to do it. Subject: the day the Permian oceans turned to acid. And so, you're left with this, a stark reminder of what's possible if we don't act now. The mass extinction event at the end of the Permian period wasn't just an ancient occurrence. It was a critical turning point for life on Earth. Research indicates that the Permian oceans experienced significant changes in pH levels due to volcanic activity and other environmental stresses, leading to catastrophic effects on marine ecosystems. This historical wake-up call must not be ignored as we face modern environmental challenges. In short, history repeats itself unless we stop it from happening again. So here's your gut punch. The end-Permian extinction event is not just a cautionary tale, it's a blueprint for what could happen if we don't change course now. This mass extinction 252 million years ago wiped out over 90% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial species due to severe climate change and ocean acidification caused by massive volcanic eruptions. And that's why you need to care more than ever before. Subject: the day the Permian oceans turned to acid. And there it is. The day the ancient Permian seas transformed into acidic waters, serving as a stark warning for our modern world. This pivotal moment in Earth's history highlights how past environmental crises can offer critical insights into future ecological challenges. So let me ask you again, what will you do to make sure that nightmare doesn't happen again? Because the Permian extinction isn't just a story from the past, it's a call to action for our future. And that's something that truly changes everything. Imagine waking up in a world where the oceans are no longer blue but a murky greenish-brown, choking out life with every breath they take. During the Permian mass extinction event, the seas turned acidic, dissolving calcium carbonate shells and killing off countless species overnight. Picture this: reefs collapsing like dominoes as the calcium carbonate that forms their skeletons dissolved away. Coral polyps suffocated in waters too corrosive to sustain them. This was an apocalyptic event for marine life, with approximately 96% of all sea species vanishing within a geologic instant. But here's where it gets really terrifying. This wasn't just about the oceans. On land, atmospheric oxygen levels dropped dramatically while temperatures skyrocketed. Vast forests transformed into barren wastelands, leaving behind only fossilized remnants of once-lush vegetation as silent witnesses to the catastrophe. The Permian extinction serves as a stark warning about our planet's vulnerability to environmental tipping points. Even slight changes in temperature or pH can trigger devastating chain reactions that obliterate entire ecosystems. Today, we observe troubling parallels with current issues like coral bleaching and accelerating ocean acidification, mirroring the catastrophic events of the past. So ask yourself, are you ready to witness another mass extinction? Because if history repeats itself, it won't just be a distant memory. It will be your reality. The end-Permian event is a wake-up call, plain and simple. We need to act now or face the consequences of our inaction. This catastrophic period saw 90% of marine species vanish as ocean acidification devastated ecosystems worldwide. Subject: the day the Permian oceans turned to acid. And here's what changes everything. We have the power to write a different ending than the one nature played out 252 million years ago during the end-Permian mass extinction event. Every decision counts, from reducing carbon emissions to protecting marine habitats. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about survival. So, what will you do today to make sure that nightmare doesn't come true again? Because history isn't destiny unless we let it be. Make your move now, or stand by and watch the world crumble around us once more. The choice is yours. Imagine if the ocean became a cauldron of acid, stripping away life in its path like some cosmic horror movie. That's exactly what happened during the end-Permian extinction event. Picture the marine ecosystems of the time, with diverse creatures such as trilobites, brachiopods, and early sharks, and then imagine them disappearing as the pH levels plummeted, heralding one of Earth's most catastrophic mass extinctions. It wasn't just fish and shellfish that suffered. Entire ecosystems collapsed almost overnight. Coral reefs were among the hardest hit, as they crumbled into dust, leaving behind barren stretches of ocean floor where once there was vibrant marine life. Imagine if every single coral reef in today's oceans were turned to rubble. It would provide a sense of the devastating scale of destruction during this period. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just about what died, it was also about what couldn't live anymore. Imagine trying to breathe through water that eats away at your gills. That's what countless marine species faced as the oceans turned toxic, all because of massive environmental changes we might barely notice today. And here's the real gut punch. It didn't just happen overnight. It was a slow burn, spanning centuries or even millennia, as rising acidity in the Permian oceans gradually decimated marine life, until suddenly, boom, the whole system crashed. Think about that for a moment. We're talking about entire species going extinct because of something gradual and invisible. So what can you do? Start small. Pick up a reusable water bottle instead of buying plastic ones. Use less electricity, plant more trees, support policies that protect our oceans. Every little step matters because this isn't just some far-off future scenario. It's happening now, right here on Earth. Reducing carbon emissions and ocean acidification can help prevent another mass extinction like the one that occurred during the end-Permian period 252 million years ago, which devastated marine life and dramatically altered Earth's ecosystems. This is your wake-up call. Are you ready to answer?